we've taken this approach where we've identified a need, right, that physicians need to learn the language of business, and they need to be able to speak across the different domains and silos. But my gut says that that's not enough, right? And I think we all know that. It's like reading a book about chess doesn't make you a good chess player, right? So how do we accelerate the other pieces that physicians need, the actual real world experience that they need to actually succeed?
Yeah, Shami and I were just talking about this, right? When you write, generally when you write a book, there's a standard recipe. So the recipe is you write the book, you figure out what ancillary things you want to do. Do you want to set up a community? Do you want to set up master classes that are asynchronous? Do you want to set up private mentoring? Do you want to set up something else? It is a question that we have not yet answered. We're sort of balancing the ability of what we want to do with our ability to actually get those things done with everything else that we do. But I think, Alex, the right answer is there needs to be a class and then continuing support. You can translate these things into a class similar to what you guys do with ClinX. But I think what we need to do is sort of build a community where you can have this ability to either ask questions to get answers from your peers, or have the appropriate mentors. Shami and I have often been approached to be mentors for lots of folks, so much so that we're now overwhelming our ability to do that with the time that's required. But that's what you need, right? Like that's what you need. If you remember back to residency, you survived because you knew someone, right? You knew a buddy that was a chief, or you knew a buddy that was a senior resident. And when you said, you know, I'm going to do this lumbar puncture, do I use this needle or that needle? You went and asked somebody. We got to figure out some way to create that network, either electronically or virtually or peer-to-peer, in order to continue to evolve the caliber of physician leadership that's required really to improve healthcare at large.
And I think it's, you know, when you take the notion of see one, do one, teach one, right, which we all learned, that see one, that mentoring around that is essential, as Mahesh said. The other piece is it's multi-generational, right? So if, you know, in our book, the last section on the anthology is on purpose multi-generational. So when you go look at that, there are people that preceded us and people that come after us chronologically in age, to be very specific. And it's a really diverse group of people. You know, we have Rena Pandey had been at .46 Ventures. We have Lisa Guano Davis, who'd been in pharma and had a really interesting educational setup from when she was young. And we have Jan Berger, who had been the first chief medical officer at CVS. And we've learned from all of them. So this notion of community, we have always set up around ourselves, even if we didn't realize what we were doing. And that's really essential for us, because when you try to go to all the other communities around just straight MBAs or other areas of industry, unless there are clinicians in it, there are some nuances we don't get. Now, that cross-fertilization between all of those sectors with clinicians is essential. So I'm not negating that notion, but there is something about clinicians and our education, regardless of area, whether you're a pharmacist, a nurse, a PA, a researcher, a doctor, that we all have and we understand our language. And maybe part of it is support group,